Hello, folks. It's Jerlene, and I'm live. Yes, I am back again. Still campaign season. Still have things to talk about. For those of you who know, Long Beach Unified School District and education it's my cha-cha. It's the one thing that I am always talking about. And so some folks had reached out to me and like, Jerlene, you have not had a single conversation with a Board of Education candidate. So I reached out. And for the board members that were not, they were able to take a few minutes to give a few minutes of time, they're going to be going live with me tonight. So we've been having a little bit of technical difficulty, so we may have some people pop in. But for anyone who's out there, it's Jerlene, live from Long Beach, Talk of the Town. All Politricks are local, the series that I've been talking about as we prepare for the June 7th election. So I don't have any of my campaign stuff next to me right now to remind you what to look for in your mail. But by now, you should have received a sample ballot. You should actually have your ballot. Polls opened, not polls, voting centers opened last weekend. So hopefully people are voting. I have heard that only about 8% of Long Beach voters have voted as of today. I hope that we don't allow our elections to be decided by 8% of the voting population of Long Beach. And I believe the voting population or registered voters is over 200,000 people. Our population in our city is about 450,000. So anyway, thank you for joining. Tonight, I am joined by Long Beach Unified School District candidates. And right now in backstage, I have one candidate from Area 1 and I have one candidate from Area 5, and hoping that a few others will be able to jump on. So I'm going to pull both of them on camera for a moment, and then I'm going to start just having a conversation. Hello. Let me unmute. Oh. Hello, Dr. Batts, and hello, Miss Craighead. How are you?
Hi, doing well.
So it seems like we have a little bit of lag with Miss Craighead. So we may have to do some tweaking or whatever. So you're doing well. How many days are left?
There's really 5. It seems like we have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday is election day. So days are counting down.
Okay. It seems like we are having some lag here. I don't know if it's me. So if everyone can just check their Wi-Fi and make sure that you guys are good to go. I don't know. Lately, I've been having a lot of issues. And it just all of a sudden started probably about 8 or 9 months ago. So it looks like Melissa has also joined us. So I'm going to pull her on. Hello. Please let me know if I'm saying your names correctly. Pitts Coltler. Did I say that correctly? Uh-oh. I need you're going to have to unmute yourself. Oh, she's trying to figure out how to unmute. Find it? Find it. All right. Did I say your name properly?
All right. No, Pitts Cutler.
Pitts Cutler. Okay. So make sure you correct me if I mess it up again, because I probably can. I just call you Melissa?
Absolutely.
All right, Melissa. There, I can't mess that up. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to drop 2 of you off. And I'm going to have a conversation with you one at a time, especially since we're having a little bit of a lag. So I'm going to actually start with Diane Craighead, because just out of seniority, she's our only incumbent. And that way you guys can craft your answers after hers. No. So I'm going to bring Diana on. So if the other 2 of you will hang on backstage, and let's see, right now we got a few viewers, and I'm going to share this to one place. And if you like, you can also share it to your social media feeds as well. All right. So I'm going to drop social media feeds as well. Okay. I am getting some feedback. Okay. I didn't hear it that time. That's good. All right, Miss Craighead, how are you?
Hi, fine. Please call me Diana.
All right, Diana. I feel so weird calling you Diana. I mean, I've been watching you for so long. I feel like I'm not being respectful, but I will, Diana. Actually, the very first time I ever met you, I met you at a town hall that was being hosted at a park in Central Long Beach, and it was it was around education. And I remember I walked up to you and I introduced myself and I called you Mrs. Craighead, and you told me to call you Diana then, and that was right after you had been elected. So I'm just I'm a little hard headed. So thank you for joining. You have had a you have been a school board member since 2012. You were
Yes,
appointed after there was an absence from the seat or someone had resigned from their seat. So this is your
yes.
actual first election. How do you feel about that?
Um, it's a new experience, and I feel like I've done things kind of backwards, where I've been in the job and I've been in the position for 10 years now, and now I'm running a campaign. Um, so from that respect, it's interesting because whenever you do something for the first time, it's a learning experience. But I'm finding that it's given me a renewed kind of um, motivation for the job, and actually um, paying very close attention to things that maybe had, you know, been put in the background a little bit. So
Mhm.
I've been enjoying the process from that point of view.
Okay. That's actually kind of scary.
What part's
I've been
scary?
talking that you're enjoying campaigning. I've
Well,
been watching
it's not the campaigning part that I'm enjoying, but I'm enjoying um, doing the research and brushing up on the issues and that type of thing. So
Okay.
the campaigning part is, to be honest, I'm not enjoying the campaigning part. I think it's stressful, and so I'm not really enjoying that. Um, I appreciate I appreciate this type of activity because we're having a conversation, and so it's not as stressful as, say, a candidate forum. But um, it's it hasn't been an easy process. There's so much pressure, to raise money, to talk about yourself. I'm fine talking about what we're doing for kids, and I'm fine in talking about what the district is doing, but I'm not entirely comfortable just talking about myself.
I had to pause for a moment because I remember I did not close my door and I heard my 8-year-old coming up the stairs. So, um, it's keeping you on your toes. So, what are some of the specific things? So you said you're doing some research and such. So what are some of the things that you're learning that you, like you said, you're doing it backwards? What are some of the things that you're learning that you kind of didn't spend too much time doing before?
Well, it's not that I didn't spend too much time on certain things, but I don't have a good memory for numbers.
Okay.
So, for example, uh, my colleague, Dr. Juan Benitez, he has such a good recall for numbers and, percentages, that type of thing. I'm not good at that. So I have to write those things down. And it's that type of thing that I'm having to pay closer attention to, or it doesn't come as natural to me. So it's that type of thing. But um, yeah, I guess that's it.
Do you I can understand that because I'm the same, and in the work that I've been doing in LBUSD with parents and advocacy groups, I'm the one that has to I have to keep the notes and I have to practice it to remember the numbers.
Right.
because they don't come naturally. Do you believe that that's something that's like that you have to be able to do that as a school board member? Or do you think that being able to take the time to study it and practice it, do you think that that is an okay part of the role of being a school board member?
Yeah, I believe that it it's an advantage to want to study it. It's an advantage to want to have those numbers handy. I understand the intention behind the numbers. So for me, that's the important part of the work. Whether something is 65% or 70%, it, that to me is not as important as uh, what it represents. So I think it's okay that I have to do that. And by the way, I've seen you facilitate different meetings and things, and it always seemed to me that you had a real handle on things like numbers and an understanding of what we're doing, especially when it comes to LCAP and the budget and everything. So I would never know that you had to study up.
I do. I do. Thank you. Thank you. That's definitely a compliment. But I do. I'll ask the same question 5 times until I'm sure that that I understand it. Um, what okay, let's see. Because your situation, you're different right now because you're the only incumbent that I have online right now. I have 3 other candidates that are waiting. Oh, wait, I gotta I am my own technician, by the way. So you are unique in this that you're the only incumbent. So do you feel in this campaign, and this is something that I've kind of observed and I've had conversations with other candidates. Do you think that that is a plus for you being an incumbent? I mean, do you come in with some extra as an incumbent, or do you think that you're having, especially since this is new for you, that you're having to put in as much time and energy in this race?
Well, I think one of the benefits to being an incumbent is that I have name recognition and
Mhm.
I've been in the job a long time. And in my case, it's not just about being in this position for a long time, but I'm a long time PTA volunteer, and so I've been around as a as an involved parent for you know going on 30 years. My oldest son will be 35 next month. So I think because I've been out and about in my community and not just representing the fifth district the last 10 years, but I I consider my position on the board to represent all the students of the district, and I don't limit myself to the community I live in. I pride myself on being involved at Jordan or being involved at Cabrillo or any school in the district because we are elected locally, but we serve the whole district and we serve every child. And that's one of the things that excites me about the job is really serving all the children.
Mhm.
And I know that sounds, cheesy, but it's true.
I'm glad to hear you say that because the one thing that I've observed over the years, specifically with the board, is almost or people have this mindset they got to force board members to stay in one specific area, but we know that our children, although I may live on the west side of Long Beach, my children do not attend school on the west side of Long Beach. So the I'm looking for board members to have a perspective that is citywide, not just to their area, yet being mindful of their constituency in their area. um,
Right.
I'm going to bring on Melissa next, and Melissa is also running for the Area 5 as well. And so she's running against you. Of the two, of course, I mean, I hope every candidate that is joining believes that they are the best candidate for the job, because if they're not, then they shouldn't be running. So I hope everyone believes that they're the best candidate for the job. Yet here it is. You've been in office since 2012. It's your first time running, originally appointed. Can you tell viewers or voters, you're talking to the voters, why should they re-elect you to school board?
I consider myself to be more of a public servant than a politician. And it's not just that I've been on the board for 10 years, but that I've done a good job for 10 years. That I have an understanding of the budget. I have an understanding of what our community needs, what we need to do for students. And I have a very good reputation of being a leader in the community. And that's because I've worked at it. I've worked hard every year, and not just this year because I'm campaigning, but every year. I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
I'm just a talking away. I'm just a talking away. I'm going to share. There's some questions that are in the comments right now, but I'm going to wait till we bring up some of the other candidates. Yet, thank you, Diana. Thank you for your service. Thank you for being, I would say, a good sport in this new adventure as a already elected and appointed in campaigning. And I'm really glad that that you have a good perspective of it. And for voters or viewers that are watching, right now, I'm having a conversation with some of the school board candidates. The only incumbent that has joined us tonight, we do have another incumbent, Juan Benitez. He's running unopposed, so he's not here with us tonight. Actually, I didn't even ask him to join because he was unopposed. And then we do have another candidate, Nubia Flores, who was unable to join us tonight. So Diana, thank you. You're welcome to hang out in the backstage if you like. And if there is opportunity, I will bring you back on. But I'm going to bring up Melissa, who is also running for LBUSD Area 5.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Hey, Melissa. Uh-oh, I don't see. Oh, I got to take down. Hold on. Got to take down the name. Thank you. Thank you. We were having a little bit of technical difficulties earlier. So I'm going to go ahead and go with you next, because since you are the candidate that is running against a current incumbent, we just kind of did a little check-in. But how are you? How are you doing? How has this experience been for you?
Completely brand new. Could not have anticipated many of the things, but it's all going as well as could be expected. It's a lot, and I'm up for the charge, so I can't complain at all. Learning a whole lot about our community, about the process of elections. And I am really, the part that I guess is a really positive is I am learning a lot more about the diversity of people that live all around me, because I have been doing a lot of walking and talking to people.
That's good. So I would have to say, if there's anything that's in common for both you and Diana, is the fact that you're both, I mean, although she's been in office, this is new for both of you. What inspired you to run? I mean, like I said, we have, Diana's been in office, and from what I've observed, our school board members tend to have a longer period of time of serving us. Why run now?
Well, there was some changes that I saw occurring at the high school that my daughters attended, and the program that my daughters specifically were a part of at Poly, the CIC program. Loved the program. I will applaud it forever because my children are well prepared for college, both in college right now and being very successful, but largely due to the overall program and specific instructors who are amazing in that program. And two of those instructors, I guess, there's some changes going on in the program that don't seem like they are enhancing the program. They seem like they're taking away from the program. And so myself and another poly mom, actually her because she's a little more knowledgeable about the education system than me, but we were asking some questions about why and not getting some answers. And so I'm retired, so I have the time. I do have the time. I have no political aspirations whatsoever. But I am absolutely a very passionate mom, and I am also a youth advocate in my entire career. All I've done is positions of advocacy for youth, and don't like not getting clear and transparent responses when asking about something that's for the best of our children. And I do have one grandson who's still currently in the district. So I'm not really happy with the response from the school district or the school board or all of the above when we started to do some inquiries. And myself and a very good friend of mine decided, okay, we're going to run. I am a person who has worked with juveniles or youth and families for over 30 years. And in some capacities that are pretty challenging. So I'm not afraid of a challenge. So here I am, and it's strictly to do what's right and to be a very strong advocate for the youth and the families in the community who have kids at the schools in Long Beach.
Since you've been campaigning, what is one thing that you have learned about either children, students, or Long Beach students or Long Beach Unified? What's one thing that you've learned just in this time period that you've been campaigning?
Okay, that's the narrow window.
Yes.
Well, I've been talking to some parents that are pretty displeased with some changes that are proposed for the locker rooms at Wilson. Okay. They are not very pleased about the way that there has not been, in their experience, because I've been out of high school for a couple of years now, but in their experience, there's changes that are being made and they're not being communicated clearly or openly to them. And so I'm hearing a lot of concerns from parents about that.
Okay.
And that Wilson one is one example, but there's many examples of things that they don't feel like they're being properly noticed or properly informed or properly even field surveyed before decisions are made that are big decisions in their eyes.
Okay. So you're running because you want to, because you feel that there's been some deficiencies and you want to make some changes for that. I'm getting feedback.
I'm just questioning whether decisions are being made in the best interest of the students and the educators.
Mm-hmm.
And my experience so far in just asking a few questions has been not entirely a transparent response from.
Okay. So as I asked Diana, why should someone choose you? Why should someone go on, whether they're filling out the little bubble on their return ballot or they're going to a voting center, why should they select you?
I have absolutely no political aspiration whatsoever. I have no financial goals that are connected to this whatsoever. I am a mom. I am an advocate. I am terribly candid, sometimes probably a little too candid, but I believe that that's what parents and families deserve. I believe that I'm not afraid to ruffle feathers if something is not what if what's being presented to the parents and the community is not clear. I don't have a problem asking the questions to try to bridge that gap. I think that would be my role. And if things are being decided that are against what the community really wants, or at least my constituency, I'm a courageous kind of person that doesn't have a problem pointing and questioning. And without saying a whole lot about myself, I spent 27 years in the juvenile justice system and I am currently retired as a peace officer who worked in the community and was a law enforcement officer. So I have dealt with a lot of things in my life, and I have the gumption and the courage to apply that here.
All right. Well, thank you, Melissa. What I'm going to do, I am going to, so folks who are listening, having conversations with LBUSD School Board candidates, got 4 candidates hanging out in the back studio right now. Finished with Diana Craighead a few moments ago, who is the incumbent that is running for re-election for the Area 5 seat. And right now on screen, I have Miss Melissa Pitts
Cutler.
Pitts Cutler, who's also running for Area 5, running for change. Melissa, I'm going to drop you into the back studio. If you like, you can stay on. If there's time, I will bring everybody else back on so we can look at some of these questions that are in the comments. So thank you, and I'm going to drop you off. But if you don't have to leave, please don't. All right, I'm going to be bringing 2 candidates up at the same time. I'm going to have them do similar kind of introductions. And if you notice, I'm not doing the traditional introductions. Like if you've had any opportunities to listen to some of the forums and some of the conversations that have taken place with school board, the reason why is because I want us to kind of connect a little bit differently. As someone who has been intimately involved with Long Beach Unified School District, I personally believe that whoever sits behind that dais is someone that we need to be able to connect with. And so I am kind of I'm asking questions that are not as traditional. Now, if you want some hard hitting questions, please put in the comments because I am going to bring those up in a few moments. So right now I'm bringing on Dr. Sharifa Batts and Miss Maria Lopez. All right, Miss Maria Isabel Lopez. Okay, let me take you off. Let me unmute. All right, so everyone's unmuted, and I'm gonna update Maria's tag in just a moment. Welcome, ladies. Thank you for being present. There's actually 3 candidates in your race, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I did make contact with Nubia Flores. She was unable to join us. I do appreciate you all joining at such short notice. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave you both up on screen, and I'm just going to jump right in. So Dr. Batts, thank you for being so patient. You were on 5 minutes before it was even time to be on. So thank you.
No
How are you feeling with this campaign? How are you feeling campaigning?
It's stressful, but fun. It's enjoyable to see parts of the city that, I was born and raised here, and it's like, wow, I've never been on this street. So, that part is fun, and actually knocking on doors and talking to neighbors. You meet some of the best people, so it's been a fun experience. Plus it's my mom and my daughter and my granddaughter. So you got 4 generations out there pounding the pavement. So that's always fun to be with family.
Okay. Maria, how are you feeling?
Good. Thank you for asking. Good. And I too have enjoyed just talking to people in the community, and it's just been great to connect with such a great community that has such different ideas of school board and what LBUSD should be doing, and so it has been just a great experience, and specifically speaking to the community has been wonderful. So
The one thing that I've noticed about this, all of you so far, is that you guys are actually having fun doing this. And I think it's great because it's all about connecting with people. So Sharifa, why are you running? What's inspiring you to run?
You know, I have two daughters where I was heavily involved when they were in school. So I was PTA president, grad night president, and I had such a great time. I was just knocking on someone's door the other day, and they're like, "Weren't you the mom that was on all of our field trips?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that was me." So when my kids were in school, now my oldest daughter, she's a licensed clinical social worker, Sydney Traxler, and she's an assistant track coach at Long Beach Jordan. So she's well off on her way with my two granddaughters, and my youngest daughter, she's Mrs. Long Beach and has my two grandsons. So I was able to focus on myself for a little, and I went back to school at Pepperdine, and I was able to get my MBA and my doctorate. And then it was, now that I have my four grandkids about to enter the district, it's time where I can go back. My mom was such a huge support system for me with my kids. I get to now have that opportunity to do that for my grandkids. So, I'm honey instead of grandma. I'm a honey. And, it's a great experience to be able to, one, be there for my kids the way my mom is there for me. And then two, be able to be there for almost 70,000 students. And we're able to identify, Long Beach Unified School District is a wonderful school district, but to be able to identify some small gaps of what can be improved, and to be able to have the opportunity to jump on board to work with the other members and to make Long Beach Unified School District, close to be number one.
All right. Maria, why are you running?
thank you. Well, I am a lifelong educator, and I am running because I want to make sure that we are meeting the needs of all of our students in the district. With the pandemic, the achievement gap that existed was widened. And so I think that this is a time where we need someone who has worked with students, worked in schools, has experience in the classroom, outside of the classroom, to bring a different lens to help meet the needs of all of our students. I am running because I think I can make a difference in schools. I'm running because I believe I have, again, the experience that is needed now. Again, currently we don't have a K-12 educator on the school board, and I am the only K-12 educator running in our area for school board. And so I think I bring a different lens, and I want to make sure that students have great opportunities. I want to make sure that we're preparing them for college if they opt to join, a career technical program, that we're doing that. But I am running because I want to make sure that we have a future of students that have been well educated, that have had the resources that they need in the classroom, and that our teachers are equipped with everything that they need to ensure that our students are going to be successful in the classroom. And this is a great, great way to give back to a community that's given me so much. Thank you.
Okay. What's really exciting, listening to all of you, one, you're all moms, and and have been involved in the education of your child or other people's children. And I think that's very important when it comes to just being able to connect with community. I'm going to ask, I'm going to jump to this, and then what I want to do, I want to ask some of these questions. So I am going to pull everybody back in. I'm kind of just going with the flow because like I said, we were having technical difficulties getting everybody in. So again, actually, since there are, there are three candidates, and I have to say, I really feel that in the area 5 race, a little bit different because there's an incumbent there. You are not running against an incumbent. So you all aren't able to speak from what you've done, right? But yet, how do you feel that you, or answer this question in a twofold? Why should someone choose you, and why are you different from the other candidates in this race? So I'm gonna go with Dr. Batts first.
So I feel that there's 4 things that differentiates me from my opponents. One, I'm a team player and team builder. So I have a skill that to be able to build strong, successful teams. I'm inclusive, collaborative with diverse people for decision making. I don't know everything, of course, but I have a very clear understanding of my strengths and my weaknesses. So building a strong team, it includes putting people in place that has the knowledge and skills that are lacking. So that's where partnering with others in the community, partnering with other entities to where we can strengthen our students at school. And next, I'm results oriented. My expertise is in risk mitigation and resiliency planning. I'm the safety vice president down at the dock. So safety of our students is critical. And the ramifications from COVID, that some have been identified, but there's many that we just don't even know. As Maria stated, the academic achievement gap, it widened when students just some of them couldn't learn online. I had parents that were telling me, look, I did the best I could. I logged in when I could, and we logged in, maybe only a couple times out of the week. For me, I'm a doer. So I make sure that I can address and fix a problem. I'm not afraid to address the elephant in the room, and I can pull people together quickly to rectify an issue because I'm solution oriented, and that's just my goal. Next are my qualifications. I have an MBA. I have a doctorate degree that focused on diversity, equity, and inclusion on boards. I have 3 different board certifications to gain an understanding of board governance through a board lens, right? So understanding the duty of care, duty of loyalty, making sure that I'm doing my research before making a decision. And next, I'm competitive. As an All-American athlete who competed in the Olympic trials, it's in my DNA. I want to see Long Beach Unified School District continue to receive awards and the almost 70,000 students be the best that they can be, pursue excellence and whatever that means to them. It could be a scholar, being a champion. We can't leave any group behind. And that's where pushing the equity policy that was recently adopted and making sure that there is fairness and equitable resources for all students is something that I would be a champion for. I can't hear you.
I said, thank you. So I'm gonna pull Maria back up. So same question, Maria, why, what differentiates you from the other candidates, and why should someone select you?
Sure. Well, I did grow up in Long Beach. I'll start by, I was born in Mexico. I grew up in Long Beach. I came into the system as an English learner, and I graduated from Long Beach Unified Schools. I graduated from Poly. I continued my education at UCLA, followed by completing my graduate coursework at the Harvard Graduate School of Education. I have been an educator for almost 30 years. I dedicated my life to working with students and making sure that students have the resources that they need in the classroom, preparing them for a career in, or preparing them to move on to college. I'm an educator. I'm not a politician. I understand what students need in the classroom. I understand what supports teachers need in order to do their work. But I also understand what administrators, counselors, librarians, psychologists need in order to move a school forward. And I'm different. I am a parent. I've been a parent in the district for about 25 years. I have a child in high school. My husband is an educator in the district, and I understand from a different lens, again, I understand what what concerns parents may have as a parent. I understand the concerns that teachers may have as a wife of an educator. I understand, what resources teachers need as a former teacher and educator. I've worked in districts. I've worked in multiple schools in various capacities. I've worked as a teacher, as a teaching and learning specialist. I've worked as a consultant. I've worked as a principal. I've been an educator. Again, I am different because I bring the experience of an individual who has worked in schools and brings that lens to the school board. I've worked in high achieving schools, and I've worked in underserved schools. I've worked in schools where we have large populations of English learners, but I've also worked with schools that have a large number of students with learning differences. And I've also worked in schools that have a good number of students that are gifted. And so, even to provide enrichment for these students and what is needed to move those even high achieving students to another level is a different lens against it that I bring. So what I bring is my experience. I bring my love, my passion for education, and my love and passion for working with kids.
Thank you. I'm going to actually bring everyone forward. All right, so let's see. All right, we're all kind of tiny now. There's some questions, and I'm going to bring those in. So thank you, Maria Isabel Lopez, for sharing your why, or everyone else's why, as well as all of you. And what's interesting, all of you you're different. And one thing that I appreciate, or one thing that I believe about Long Beach Unified School District board members, is that they have to be able to connect with the people. And not necessarily, not looking for politicians, but looking for public servants. So I'm actually I have some questions here, and I just want to pull up, and I want to share these. And it says, what is she doing to support? So since I have all she's, thank you, Judy Carey. So I don't know if you, for those of you who are new to this environment. So one thing that I have observed as someone who has been attending school board meetings and deeply involved, I've not crossed paths with any of you over the years. So I have lots and lots of questions, as many people will. Yet the one thing that I'm going to be patient. I can't vote for you. I actually live in a different area. Yet I'm looking forward to whoever is elected to be able to ask my many, many questions. Yet two questions that are currently that I see are about special education. And it says, what is she doing to support special education students specifically, not in general, but in specific ways? I think that may have been for Diana, yet I'm going to put that out there. What will you do as a board member? And whoever wants to answer it, go for it. What will you do as a board member to support special education? Do I have to pick one of y'all?
So I can start. For me, I was recently introduced to the CAC. I do have a daughter who has dyslexia and bipolar, but she was not diagnosed. So that was a group that I was just in awe of when I attended the meeting. And I believe when it comes to any decision making, especially with any one subgroup, you have to have the feedback and the input from that group. So definitely partnering with the CAC group to hear the voices. I read the recommendations, and really making sure that as a board that we are trying to do our best to make sure that those recommendations, because they are the ones that put these recommendations together, and making sure that those are not only implemented, but they're carried out. It's one thing to have something on a piece of paper, but it's another thing to have a champion, someone who's there to sponsor what those recommendations are, to make sure that they are being followed through.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
If I
Jump
could,
right in.
Can I jump in?
Oh, yeah. Jump right.
next round, I don't see Jerlene.
I think what we need to do is make sure that our budget reflects that we want to invest more for our students with learning differences. So certainly our budget needs to reflect it. Our teachers need to have adequate training. Actually, they have to have training, just period. Because currently, unless you're a special ed teacher and you are not getting that training. So we definitely need to invest in training, and the budget absolutely needs to reflect that we are making sure that the needs of these students are being met.
Anyone else? Because I have a question. Okay, I'm going to ask my question. Oh, go ahead.
Kind of, there's a delay.
Go ahead, Diana.
I'm sure I don't want to interrupt, but I believe the question was something about how will we advocate for a specific student with special needs, or okay, so special education students specifically.
That was another question that came up.
The things that have been mentioned. Okay. The things that have been mentioned are absolutely what we have to do to make sure the budget supports special education, make sure that we have, the proper training and everything. But what happens as a board member is that we'll reach out to you as a board member, and then you are responsive to them. So whether it's an issue with a special education student or something else, the responsibility of the board member is to be responsive to the parent, the family, that type of thing. That's one of the ways that we help advocate for our students. And we make sure that the parents are put in touch with the proper person to talk to, the person who can help them, and then follow up and make sure that they're being helped adequately.
Okay. I'm going to ask a question. I'm going to ask another question, and I know we've gone on way over time, in which I had originally said that we would do. But one thing that I've observed over the years is a lack of participation from parents. And although the school district has multiple initiatives. Okay, there's feedback somewhere. Okay, and I'll unmute you all. There's multiple initiatives and different things, even like with a CAC, for opportunities for parent engagement. Yet there's still a lack of parent engagement. So if you guys could, if you ladies, you mothers could 30 seconds each tell me, what would you do or propose to engage parents within your area? What will you do to engage parents within your area? So
I'll start, since I passed on the first part of the question. I come from boots on the ground in my history and my present. In the juvenile justice system, probably at least 25 to 35% of the population or higher are IEP students. So I have been working with this population since 1987. I've conducted IEPs, participated in treatment teams, and currently I'm a substitute teacher, and I am.
So I'm gonna jump in there and make sure you can redirect you a little bit. How would you engage parents?
What I see at the site that I work at is that parents, I think we need more outreach to parents. And as a social worker, I think we should be going to homes. I don't know if that's okay in the district, but it would be my push, watching and learning the kids that I see every day. For the parents that are engaged, that's great. For the parents that are not, I am always dying to reach out past the doors of the school to connect with the family members, to help them understand what happens in the classroom and how they can partner better and stronger to move the child forward in their education.
Okay, so going to homes, what would you do, Maria Isabel Lopez?
I think incredibly important, it just even in this role, is uh, speaking directly uh, with the community, engaging our parents, holding meetings where I'm able to interact with them, to ask questions, to listen to them, to their concerns, but also to make the schools a place where they feel welcome. So there has to be some kind of a partnership where our schools and our community are working together, and our families can feel welcome in schools. Schools can be very intimidating to many community members, and so we need to make every effort, intentional efforts, to work in a collaborative way, and make our schools a place where parents feel that they're a part of. And so I would be committed to that, and to working directly with the community and holding meetings so that I can hear their concerns, and any policy enacted would reflect the voices of the community for me.
All right. So you would hosting regular meetings and engaging directly with parents. And you, Dr. Batts, what would you do, or what do you plan on doing if elected to engage parents?
So I would start one with a quick survey. Different cultures, they respond to different things, right? It could be some prefer coffee sessions, some prefer Zoom session, some prefer a lunch, some have time in the evening. So getting a quick little temperature check on what it is that they prefer, and then making sure that I'm able to spread myself across it all to get the total team building engagement. That may mean I'm hosting coffee sessions every Tuesday, keeping something consistent so that parents know, okay, I can't make it this Tuesday, but next Tuesday I'll be at the coffee. Next Thursday, it's lunch at this specific same place, same time. This session, time and place for Zoom session. And in the evenings for people that work in the day, every day at this time, once a month, twice a month, you can meet at this location. Because in order to get everyone, and then once a month having a fun event, because you have food and you have entertainment, you get people that will come. And when they come, that's when you engage and you say, listen, I still need your input before we start the fun. So just being creative, because I had to do that when I was a PTSA president, where you had to increase the numbers there.
Okay. Diana, yours is slightly different. What would you do differently to engage parents? Uh-oh. Did she freeze up?
My plan has always been to be accessible to. Did I freeze
Oh, no,
up?
no.
Can you hear
I
me
hear you.
okay?
I can hear you.
Okay. I've always been accessible. I make sure that I attend different school events, make sure I'm out in the community. That's one way that people can approach me. I'm responsive to phone calls, to emails. Anytime somebody reaches out, I always get back to them. That's important to me. Especially being a former mom in the district. Also, I'd like to mention that we have a relatively new uh, chief communications officer, and we are working on things like developing the website, making it more user friendly, and creating a newer website that has more of an emphasis on parent engagement. I know from experience, when you're looking for ways to be engaged, if they're harder to find, especially on the website, or community facing information or whatever, then that's discouraging and less likely to participate if it's harder to find the information. So for me, that's a priority, is making sure that the information is available and making sure that we're encouraging more community engagement. Um, and that's something that is currently in progress.
Thank you. Okay. Um, heard a lot of wonderful ideas. If anyone is just now tapping in, or if you've made it to this far in the conversation, having a dialogue with LBUSD candidates, Area 1 and Area 5. There are 3 candidates in the Area 1 race. Nubia Flores was unable to join us tonight. Yeah, we have Maria Isabel Lopez and Dr. Sharifa Batts, again, Area 1 candidates. And from Area 5, we have Melissa Pitts Cutler and Diana Craighead, who is our current sitting school board member, just having dialogue. In this race, folks, there's 3 candidates in Area 1. So that means there's a possibility there will be a runoff. If there is a runoff, that means that there will be 2 candidates leading into the November election. So keep that in mind. If so, we'll be back with more conversation and more questions, and some real heavy ones when we get to that point. I know that there are some people wondering why I'm not asking really heavy questions. The reason why is because I really want people to just kind of be able to connect with you all on a human level. In our Area 5 race, there are 2 candidates. That means winner takes all. There will be no runoff. So it will be 51 plus 1. It'll either be Melissa or Diana that will be taking that seat. Um, take the time, look at your ballot. What area do you live in? I don't have my ballot with me right now, folks, but take the time, look at your ballot. Is if you live in an odd district, that means there's an election for school board in your area. I actually live in area 2. Y'all should know that because I do a lot of complaining. um, what I want to do is keep and for those of you who are listening, whoever wins. So if someone takes winner takes all, and there is no going to the election in November, remember some of the things that have been said specifically around parent engagement. Parent engagement is key to the success of our district. It's key to the success of our students. So the ideas that they share with us, we have to make sure that we hold them accountable. That lunch, I'm looking forward to lunch, or that coffee, or those community meetings. I'm not sure how I feel about those home visits, but I would be down to go knock on some doors to get parents to come out. So just don't want anyone coming to my door. No. What I want each of you to do is, I didn't get a chance to pull up your websites. So if you can tell people how to find out more information about you, so that they can, if they need to, between now and Tuesday, they know where to go. So let's do a real quick. Maria, how do people find out information about you?
Yes, visit my website, www.lopez4, that's FOR, LBSchoolboard.com.
Uh-oh, I pulled up the wrong one. Okay, I was trying. All right, go ahead, Sharifa. What is your, Dr. Batts, what is your website? How do people connect with you?
It'd probably be good if you show it again. It's Dr. Sharifa Batts for schoolboard.com. And that is FOR, and that is DR for doctor. So Dr. Sharifa Batts for schoolboard.com.
All right. So if people, I'm gonna show Mrs. Lopez's, there we go. Lopez for lbschoolboard.com. Dr. Sharifa Batts for schoolboard.com. All right. And how do they find you, Melissa?
I am Pitts Cutler, the number 4, schoolboard.com.
All right. Let's pull that up real quick. Pitts Cutler for schoolboard.com. And I'll also drop these in the chat, or so that people are watching this afterwards, or and in the body of the post. All right. How do they find you, Diana?
DianaChrisSchoolBoard.com.
All right. Diana's volume got really low there. So let's add this in.
Uh-oh.
It's Diana Craighead for schoolboard.com.
Craighead School Board.
That's
So
it.
thank you for joining us. If it's Jerlene, it's Jerlene live. All Politricks are local. Talk of the town. Please give us a thumbs up. If you share, please share, react, leave a comment, reach out to these candidates. June 7th is election. You can vote tomorrow, Friday. You can vote Saturday. You can vote Sunday. You can vote Monday. And the last opportunity you get to vote is Tuesday. So thank you. If you've been watching, I appreciate you. I'm going to cut the broadcast off now. So everyone have a good night or good morning or good afternoon whenever you're watching this.
Thank you.